Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for joining us here on the channel. Got a quick video we want to drop today just to get your thoughts on it. So make sure you drop those comments below. We'll make sure that we read them and respond. Just want to get your take. So we don't get political here on this channel by design, but we do love to hear, what our audience thinks, and we'd love to have you guys weigh in. So a current topic right now, anyone that's been a part of society over the last handful of months knows that we just had the political midterm elections. The Democrats held on to the Senate and the Republicans took over a slim majority in the House. And really over the last handful of days, it's been interesting to watch, and they were all kind of jockeying for the Speaker of the House, who Nancy Pelosi was for the Democrats, and Kevin McCarthy out of California, had emerged as basically the front runner, and everyone kind of expected fairly smooth sailing until kind of the 11th hour. The House Freedom Caucus, and we'll get into who they are here in just a second, basically they dug their heels in and they wanted some massive reforms, some massive changes, and in order to vote McCarthy in, which they ultimately did, they asked him for a few things, one of which was to oppose a bill that was Democrat-led last year that basically over the next 10 years was going to add about $80 billion, with a B, dollars to the IRS. And that's a scary three-letter word right there, the Internal Revenue Service, guys. So basically they're trying to build that up. And the fear is that they're going to politicize it, which we'll talk about that again here in a second, and ultimately weaponize that. So that's ultimately going to result in 87,000 new employees by the IRS. Many of them are going to be agents, and many of those agents they're saying are going to be armed. So the fear is obviously that those people are going to be getting, those new agents are going to start shaking people down, shaking down small businesses. It kind of makes you think of the Matrix in my head. There's those agents that, they're on their earpieces all the time. You can't avoid them and you can't beat them, just like you cannot beat the IRS once they're on your case. So obviously do everything by the books from a tax prep standpoint. But again, no one wants to go through an audit. And the fear on the right, on the GOP side, is that this is going to create what's going to be called a shadow army. And really how that came about is during the Obama administration, there was a lot of scandal going on that the Obama White House was having the IRS basically weaponized and going after the conservative Tea Party at the time. And effectively what they're doing was auditing the heck out of these businesses and making it very difficult for them to achieve the tax exempt status, which all of them were trying to obtain, or they had already achieved that and obtained the tax exempt status, and the IRS was trying to take that away, or at least poke holes in them having that exempt status. So that is the fear. So what is this House Freedom Caucus? Basically what it is it's made up of 36 people, 36 members of the House of Representatives that are all in the Republican Party. It would kind of be the equivalent, and there's a lot of firebrands in there as well, and firebrand's kind of that hot political term. It would be the equivalent firebrand of the left, which has the squad, the AOCs and the like that are always in the news. The far right, the Freedom Caucus, is starting to get a lot of those folks, getting those eyeballs and that attention as well, because they're really shaking things up on the far right. And what they really prioritize is national defense and really small government and limiting government outreach, particularly with the IRS, for example, among other things. So what they've developed in the bill that they put forth and passed just straight along party lines as expected is called the Family and Small Business Tax Protection Act. And the sole purpose really of this bill is to repeal the Democrat-led bill last year that ultimately is adding this $80 billion to the IRS budget. Absolutely is going to get shot down in the Democratic-held Senate, and the Biden White House has already gone on record by saying that if it does reach his desk and goes through the Senate, that he's absolutely going to veto it. So more than anything, it's symbolic. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it, guys. Is this overreach by the government? Are you terrified that the IRS is going to be pounding on your door because you owe, $100 in back taxes? What are your thoughts on that? Does anyone watching, have they had an outrageous or a nightmare audit story? Obviously with those additional agents, the massive fear is that they are going to be targeting individuals. So another thing to consider, and what I'd like you to weigh in on, is whether or not you believe Janet Yellen. So she's gone on record with the Democratic-led bill to increase the size of the IRS and obviously add that hefty $80 billion budget, bring on the additional 87,000 agents as necessary. She also said that they will not be targeting households that make under $400,000. So really the target and the prey for the IRS, if you will, is going to be that $400,000 and up threshold. Do you believe her? I don't know if I do personally. This is the same U.S. Treasury Secretary that last summer went on record calling inflation transitory. We all know where we're at today as far as the time of recording goes. So love to hear your thoughts on that. Do you think that they are going to start targeting under 400,000? Are they going to stick to their word? So share your thoughts below. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode. Go ahead and smash that thumbs up. Till next time, take care. Make it a great day.